So, we're using a new app to explain scientific notation, or I should say review scientific notation. We did cover this earlier in the year. Again, when using scientific notation, we're going to write answers so that they're always in the ones place. So we'll need to move the decimal so that it ends up in the ones, or between the 1 and the tens place. That's a 4. Okay, and then it's going to be times 10 to some power, and that power would be dependent on what the size of the number was in standard form. And there's several examples of that. Keep in mind, large numbers have positive exponents. Okay, small numbers will have a negative exponent. As we go through this, we will use exponent rules. So just as a reminder, when we're multiplying, we add our exponents, and when we divide, we subtract our exponents. So here on slide 2, we have an example where they're asking us to take something in scientific notation and put it into standard form. For those concerned about the number at the beginning, please disregard. I took these from Study Island and just using as examples, and please disregard what number they say in here. This is our first example. Anyhow, I have 7.521 times 10 to the negative 7th. Here, the 10 to the 7th, I said negative 7th, it's 10 to the 7th, tells me to move my decimal 7 spots to the right. 1, 2, 3. The next 4 loops, 4, 5, 6, 7, are going to be filled with zeros, and then it might be easier or help us see the size of the number if we come back and group these into groups of 3, and we have 75,210,000. And when we look at that, we see that our answer should be B. So I'll cross that out, but again, B was our answer that we're looking for. Continue on. Here we have a couple more examples. If you want to hit pause and try them on your own, feel free. If you're not quite sure you've got it down, just follow along. So this next one, and please disregard the number of the examples, 1.038 times 10 to the negative 3. With a negative exponent, it's small, so we need to move the decimal to the left 3 spots. So 1, this loop is filled, 2, 3. So we have 2 empty loops, we put zeros in their place, and when we look at that, we can find that our answer corresponds with D. Okay, taking a look at this next example, 5.043. We're moving our decimal 3 spots to the right, 1, 2, 3. So we'd have 5,043, and our correct answer would be B. Again, this is provided just as a quick reminder of scientific notation. Where we want to go is multiplying or dividing numbers that are written in scientific notation. So in this case, we have 3.12 times 10 to the 4th times 6.8 times 10 to the 3rd. I'm going to go ahead and use 10 to the 4th and 10 to the 3rd and use exponent rules, and I know that that should be 10 to the 7th. We may need to adjust that as we go, and I would use a calculator as we go ahead and go 3.12 times 6.8. And I'm just waiting for my calculator here to pull up. So 3.12 times 6.8 gives us an answer of 21.216 times 10 to the 7th. Now in this case, we need to put our decimal and move it so that it's between the 2 and the 1. So we have 2.1216 times 10. It was to the 7th, but at this case, because I'm shifting 1 spot, I need to end up making this one 10 to the 8th. So hopefully that doesn't confuse us too much, but that's where we need to go. So again, 2 more examples. If you want to hit pause and try them yourself, you certainly can. In this first one, I know that 2 times 8 is going to be 16, So I know 10 to the 5th times 10 to the 13th is going to give us 10 to the 18th. However, we're going to need to adjust that because our answer is going to be 16 something. And again, I would rely on a calculator to go ahead and do the math just to make it quicker. I know that we all can go ahead and multiply these by hand if we want to. So 8.93 times 2, and actually I was incorrect. It's going to round up to 17 point, not round up, but when we multiply it's going to give us 17.86. So again, instead of having my decimal here between the 7 and the 8, I want to make sure it's 1.786 times 10. Because I'm only moving the decimal one spot, I need to adjust my exponent by 1. In this case, it's going to become larger, 10 to the 19th. So D should be my correct answer. This next example, we're dividing. So in that, exponent rules, 10 to the negative 6 divided by, I should go with the division sign. Wow, writing on this is tough, guys, sorry. 10 to the 2nd. So exponent rules say that we subtract. So 10 to the negative 6 divided by 10 to the 2nd will give us 10 to the negative 8th. Okay, and then I need to go 22.6 divided by 5. And that's going to give us 22.6 divided by 5. Calculator tells me that that is 4.52 times 10 to the negative 8. And because my number in the front is in the ones place already, I can leave it as it is. So this is just a quick review of scientific notation. I'm going to try using this app called Explain Everything, upload it to YouTube, and we'll watch it in class tomorrow. And please provide feedback as to if this recording system is better than what we had previously used. Alright, that should wrap it up.